The challenge. Grand Admiral Xanthera stood at the bridge of the Arcanian flagship Eternal Dominion, her crystalline form refracting the starlight as she gazed at the blue-green planet below. Earth, such a primitive world, yet one that had somehow resisted integration into the collective for far too long. Her crystalline appendages shifted, creating a subtle chiming sound that reflected her irritation. "Status report," she commanded, her voice resonating through the crystalline chamber. First observer Raltek's holographic form materialized beside her. "The humans continue to ignore our demands for integration, Admiral. They've responded to our ultimatum with what their leaders called diplomatic channels." The disdain in his voice was evident. "Diplomatic channels," Xanthera echoed, the crystals of her form darkening slightly. "They still don't understand their position. Show me their defensive capabilities again." The holographic display filled with data streams about Earth's military forces, primitive projectile weapons, nuclear devices that would be useless against Arcanian shields, aircraft that couldn't even leave their atmosphere efficiently, satellites that could barely maintain stable orbits. "Their highest military achievement is what they call an aircraft carrier," Raltek reported, "a vessel that floats on their water oceans, carrying smaller vessels that fly through their atmosphere. Completely useless against our technology." Xanthera's crystalline form vibrated with what passed for laughter among her kind. "And yet they resist. Send the final warning. Show them exactly what they're facing." The message was broadcast globally, bypassing all Earth's communication networks. Every screen, every device capable of displaying images, showed the same thing. The Arcanian fleet, 10,000 ships strong, their crystalline structures gleaming in the sun's light. "People of Earth," Xanthera's voice resonated across the planet. "Your resistance to integration is both futile and illogical. We are the Arcanian Collective, masters of crystalline technology, conquerors of 1,000 worlds. Our smallest vessel could destroy your largest military installation. Our shields are impenetrable to your weapons. Your technology is primitive, your defenses inadequate." She paused, allowing her words to sink in. "You have 24 of your Earth hours to submit to integration. Your cultural identity will be preserved in our historical archives. Your resources will be managed efficiently. Your population will be given purpose within the collective. Resist, and we will be forced to demonstrate our power in ways your primitive minds cannot imagine." The transmission ended, and Xanthera turned to her command staff. "Prepare integration protocols. These humans will learn their place in the universe." On Earth, in a nondescript conference room in Geneva, the United Earth Defense Council sat in silence after watching the transmission. General Sarah Chen, commander of the Allied Space Defense Initiative, was the first to speak. "Well," she said, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth, "they certainly know how to make an entrance. They're not wrong about our technological disadvantage." Admiral James Rodriguez added, his weathered face serious. "Their crystalline technology is beyond anything we've developed. Those ships are practically living computers." Dr. Maya Patel, head of the Global Research Coalition, had been unusually quiet throughout the transmission. Now, as she looked up from her tablet, her eyes bright with what could only be described as scientific mischief. "Living computers," she repeated slowly. "Crystalline structures." Did anyone else notice how their admiral's form seemed to react to environmental changes? The way she darkened when she was showing contempt. Dr. Patel, General Chen leaned forward, recognizing that look. It was the same look that had led to the development of Earth's first functional plasma drive. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking," Maya said, her fingers flying across her tablet, "that maybe we don't need to match their technology. Maybe we just need to understand it. Their entire civilization is based on crystalline computing. Living crystal, if I'm right. And what affects crystals?" "Temperature," Rodriguez said slowly. "Vibration. Electromagnetic fields." "Exactly." Maya's smile grew wider. "They think we're primitive because we haven't mastered crystal technology. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is that we've mastered something else entirely. Adaptation. General Chen's expression shifted from concern to intrigue. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting, Maya said, that we show them exactly why humans have survived on a planet that tries to kill us every day. Why we've thrived in every environment, from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains. Why we've turned our greatest challenges into our greatest achievements. She stood up, projecting her tablet's display onto the main screen. They've given us 24 hours. I say we use it, not to prepare for surrender, but to prepare them for a lesson in human ingenuity. They think they know what we're capable of based on our technology. I say we show them what we're capable of despite it. The room was silent for a moment before General Chen spoke. You have my attention, Doctor. What do you need? Maya's eyes gleamed. Everything. Every frequency generator we have. Every sonic device. Every piece of equipment that can produce or manipulate electromagnetic fields. And most importantly, she grinned, I need every high school physics teacher who's ever demonstrated what happens to crystals under resonant frequency. They think we're primitive, Rodriguez said, beginning to understand. They expect us to fight with missiles and bombs. Exactly, Maya nodded. But we're not going to fight their way. We're going to fight our way. And our way isn't about matching their technology. It's about understanding it, adapting to it, and turning it against them. General Chen stood up. You have 12 hours to develop a proof of concept, Doctor. If it works, you'll have the full resources of every nation on Earth at your disposal. As the meeting adjourned, Maya looked out the window at the crystalline ships glittering in orbit. They were beautiful, perfect, and utterly predictable in their superiority, just like every other force that had ever underestimated humanity's capacity for innovation. 24 hours, she muttered to herself, already running calculations. More than enough time to remind them why Earth is classified as a death world. Unexpected tactics. 12 hours into humanity's deadline, Dr. Maya Patel stood in the transformed conference center, now a makeshift command hub for what she dubbed Operation Resonance. Screens covered every wall, showing live feeds from laboratories and research centers worldwide. The air hummed with energy and anticipation. Show me the test results from Mumbai, she called out, and a new window expanded on the main screen. The footage showed a small crystalline structure, similar in composition to the Arcanian ships, vibrating under controlled conditions. As the frequency adjusted, the crystal's internal structure began to destabilize. Remarkable. First observer, Raltec reported aboard the Eternal Dominion. The humans appear to be doing nothing. Grand Admiral Senthira's crystalline form shimmered with satisfaction. As expected, they recognized the futility of resistance. Prepare the integration protocols. But something was bothering Raltec. Admiral, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface. They appear to be testing various wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation. Scientific curiosity in their final hours, Senthira dismissed. A primitive species attempt to understand superior technology before submission. On Earth, Maya's team had just achieved their first breakthrough. Look at this pattern, she explained to General Chen, pointing to a complex waveform on her screen. Their crystalline technology isn't just computational, it's symphonic. Every crystal resonates at specific frequencies, creating a harmony that powers their entire civilization. And you can disrupt this harmony? Chen asked, studying the data. Maya's eyes sparkled. Better, we can join their symphony. And then change the tune. Every radio tower, every satellite dish, every speaker system on Earth, we're going to turn our planet into one massive resonance chamber. In orbit, Raltec noticed something peculiar. Admiral, the energy signatures, they're organizing into patterns. The humans are coordinating something globally. Senthira's form shifted, a hint of unease creeping into her crystalline structure. Scan for weapon signatures. None detected, Raltec confirmed. But, Admiral, these patterns, they're beginning to resonate with our hull frequencies. The first test began in Australia. Every radio telescope in the outback, normally listening to the stars, turned skyward and began broadcasting a precisely calculated frequency. Alone, it was harmless. But it wasn't alone. Across Asia, thousands of repurposed communication arrays joined in. Europe's radio networks followed. The Americas added their voice to the growing chorus. Each broadcast seemingly random, but together forming a complex interference pattern aimed at the Arcanian fleet. Admiral, Realtek's hologram flickered. Our outer hull is experiencing unexpected vibrations. The humans, they're broadcasting some kind of coordinated electromagnetic pulse, but it's like nothing we've encountered before. Xanthera's form darkened. Impossible. Their technology is too primitive to affect our ships. Raise shields to maximum power. But the shields, crystalline in nature like everything else in Arcanian technology, only added new frequencies to the resonance. Earth's broadcasts shifted, adapted, incorporated the new frequencies into its symphony of disruption. In the Geneva Command Center, Maya watched as the first Arcanian scout ships began to show signs of distress. Their perfect crystalline forms started vibrating visibly, refracting sunlight in increasingly chaotic patterns. They're trying to adapt, she noted, watching the readings, but they can't change their fundamental nature. Every countermeasure they attempt just gives us more frequencies to work with. Their greatest strength has become their greatest vulnerability. Admiral, Realtek's voice had risen in pitch. Hull integrity is destabilizing across the fleet. The humans, they're not attacking our shields or weapons. They're attacking the very frequency that holds our ships together. Xanthera watched in horror as the outer layers of several smaller ships began to crystallize in new, uncontrolled patterns. Impossible. They're primitives. They don't even have basic crystal technology. How could they possibly? That's exactly why they can do this, Realtek realized, his hologram becoming increasingly unstable. They never developed crystal technology because they developed something else. An understanding of fundamental physics we never needed to explore. They're not trying to match our technology. They're exploiting its basic properties. On Earth, Maya turned to General Chen. Phase 1 is working. Their ships are destabilizing, but they're about to make a critical decision. Retreat and admit defeat, or push forward and risk their entire fleet. And if they push forward? Chen asked. Maya's expression hardened. Then we move to Phase 2. We've proven we can disrupt their ships. Now we show them we can shatter them. In orbit, Xanthera faced a choice she'd never imagined possible. Her fleet, the pride of the Arcanian collective, was being undone not by advanced weapons, but by the coordinated efforts of a supposedly primitive species wielding the most basic principles of physics like a precision instrument. Admiral, Realtek's voice was urgent. We must withdraw. The humans, they're not just defending themselves. They're learning, adapting, finding new frequencies with every passing moment. Our technology is becoming a liability. Xanthera's form pulsed with rage and disbelief. The humans hadn't just resisted. They'd turned the very fundamentals of Arcanian technology against them. And they'd done it not with superior firepower, but with understanding and innovation. As the first ships began to break formation, their crystalline structures struggling to maintain cohesion, a new transmission reached the fleet. Dr. Maya Patel's voice, calm and clear. This is Earth. We appreciate your interest in integration, but we prefer to maintain our independence. We suggest you withdraw while your ships are still capable of faster-than-light travel. And perhaps consider this. True advancement isn't just about developing technology. It's about understanding the principles behind it. We may not have mastered crystal computing, but we've mastered something far more valuable. Adaptation. The turning point. Grand Admiral Xanthera's crystalline form pulsed with an intensity that made her command staff step back. The initial retreat had been humiliating enough, But what came next was unprecedented in Arcanian history. Adaptation. "Show me the modifications," she commanded. The holographic display revealed the fleet's outer hulls, now layered with new crystalline formations designed to dampen resonant frequencies. It had taken 3 days of continuous modification, but they had finally developed a defense against Earth's sonic assault. The new configurations will resist their primitive resonance attacks. Strategic architect Val Sim reported, his holographic form displaying confidence patterns. "We've also developed randomized frequency modulators for our core systems." But first observer Raltec wasn't so certain. "Admiral, the humans haven't been idle. Their global communication networks are buzzing with something. They're sharing information at an astronomical rate." On Earth, Dr. Maya Patel studied the modified Arcanian ships with professional admiration. "Impressive adaptation," she noted, addressing the Global Defense Conference. "They've essentially created a crystalline anti-resonance chamber around their ships. Can we overcome it?" General Chen asked, watching the fleet's new configurations with concern. Maya's smile was subtle but confident. "They're still thinking like Arcanians, trying to solve the problem with pure technology. But we've been busy too." She gestured to the screens showing thousands of collaborative research projects happening simultaneously worldwide. "While they were rebuilding their ships, we've been building something far more powerful, a global neural network." The project had started as a simple idea. If individual research teams could discover weaknesses in Arcanian technology, what could millions of connected minds achieve? Earth's internet had transformed into something new, a vast, real-time collaborative platform where scientists, engineers, and even ordinary citizens could contribute ideas and observations. "The collective thinks in crystal," Maya explained. "We think in networks. Show them the simulation." Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, leading the quantum computing team in Tokyo, took over the presentation. "The Arcanians use crystal matrices for computing, highly efficient but fundamentally rigid. Our new quantum neural network operates differently. It learns, adapts, and evolves in real time." The simulation showed Earth's transformed defense system. Every device, from smartphones to satellites, had become part of a vast sensing and broadcasting network. But instead of simple resonance patterns, they were now capable of generating complex, evolving wavelengths that could adapt to any countermeasure. "We're not just broadcasting frequencies anymore," Maya continued. "We're creating a dynamic, living counterpoint to their crystalline symphony. Every attempt they make to block our signals teaches our network how to bypass their defenses." In orbit, the Arcanian fleet began its advance. Their modified ships, gleaming with new protective layers, moved with confidence toward Earth's atmosphere. "No response from the humans," Raltec reported, but his voice carried a note of uncertainty. "Their energy emissions are different." Xanthurus' form shifted impatiently. They expended their one trick. Begin the integration sequence. The first wave of ships entered the atmosphere. For a moment, everything seemed to proceed according to plan. Then Raltec's hologram flickered violently. "Admiral, the humans, their attack, it's everywhere and nowhere. The frequencies keep changing, adapting. Our countermeasures can't keep up." The new human defense network had come online. Every electronic device on Earth, coordinated by the quantum neural network, began broadcasting unique, ever-changing frequencies. The Arcanian ship's protective layers, designed to counter specific resonance patterns, found themselves trying to adapt to millions of different attacks simultaneously. "Impossible." Val Sim's hologram stuttered. "Their technology is too primitive to generate such complex interference patterns." But Maya and her global team had realized something fundamental. Complexity didn't require advanced technology. It required coordination, adaptation, and creativity. Earth's primitive technology, guided by the collective intelligence of billions of connected minds, was proving more formidable than any single advanced system. "Admiral," Raltec's voice was urgent. "Their attack, It's learning from our defenses. Every countermeasure we deploy is analyzed and countered within seconds. The humans have turned their entire planet into some kind of adaptive defense system. In the Geneva Command Center, Maya watched as the Arcanian fleet struggled against the evolving attack. "They still don't understand," she said softly. "They think technology alone equals advancement. They never considered that our primitive methods, combined with our ability to adapt and work together, could surpass their crystalline perfection." The Arcanian ships began to show signs of stress. Their new protective layers, unable to adapt quickly enough to the constantly changing assault, started to develop microscopic fractures. The quantum neural network detected these weaknesses instantly, focusing Earth's combined broadcasting power on these vulnerable points. "Admiral, Val Sim's hologram was barely stable. We're detecting cascade failures throughout the fleet. Their attack, it's not just disrupting our ships, it's learning from every interaction, becoming more efficient with each passing second." Xanthera watched in disbelief as her carefully modified fleet began to suffer the same destabilization as before, but now at an accelerated rate. The humans hadn't just countered their adaptation, they'd turned it into a weapon against them. Maya's voice transmitted clear and calm. "Your ship's crystalline structure makes them perfect computers, Admiral. But they also make perfect resonance chambers. You can try to adapt, but we'll always adapt faster. Not because our technology is better, but because we've learned to think differently. Evolution beats perfection every time." Unity in chaos. The Arcanian command ship, the Eternal Dominion, shuddered as another wave of adaptive frequencies washed over its crystalline hull. Grand Admiral Xanthera's form had lost its pristine geometric perfection, stress fractures visible in her crystalline structure. "Full retreat," she ordered, her voice resonating with defeat. But before the fleet could withdraw, something unexpected happened. Earth's broadcasts suddenly ceased. In the Geneva Command Center, Dr. Maya Patel smiled as she initiated the final phase of humanity's defense. "They think they understand us now," she said to General Chen. "They think we're just using clever tricks with sound waves and frequencies. Time to show them what humanity is really capable of." The quantum neural network had evolved beyond its original purpose. What started as a defensive system had become something more, a global consciousness of sorts, combining human creativity with machine efficiency in ways even its creators hadn't anticipated. "Send the message," Maya nodded to her team. Across Earth's surface, every screen, speaker, and broadcasting device activated simultaneously. But instead of an attack, they transmitted something entirely different. An invitation. "Arcanian Collective." Maya's voice reached the retreating fleet. "We invite you to witness something. You came to integrate us into your civilization because you believed we were primitive. Now we offer you the chance to understand why we choose to remain independent." In orbit, Xanthera's curiosity overcame her caution. "What are they doing?" The answer came as Earth's entire electronic infrastructure transformed. The quantum neural network, originally designed for defense, began sharing humanity's history, culture, and achievements, not as simple data, but as a living, interactive experience. The Arcanians watched in fascination as humanity's story unfolded before them. They saw how humans had evolved not through perfect design, but through countless adaptations to challenges. They witnessed how every defeat had led to innovation, how limitations had sparked creativity. "Impossible," strategic architect Val Sim whispered, his hologram flickering with emotion. "Their civilization, it's not primitive at all. It's organic, growing, constantly evolving." The demonstration continued. Earth's networks showed how humans had turned their greatest weaknesses into strengths, how they had learned to cooperate despite their differences, to innovate despite their limitations, to persist despite their failures. "You see," Maya's voice explained, "our technology isn't primitive. It's precisely what we needed to become who we are. We didn't develop crystalline computing because we found different solutions, solutions that allowed us to adapt and change rapidly. Your civilization seeks perfection. Ours seeks growth. As if to demonstrate this point, the quantum neural network began to evolve again. It started interpreting and translating Arcanian crystalline data structures in real time, creating a bridge between two fundamentally different approaches to technology and existence. Admiral Reltech reported, his hologram showing clear signs of astonishment. They're not just communicating with us. They're learning to speak our language, to understand our technology, to bridge the gap between our civilizations. All in a matter of hours. Xanthera's form shifted, displaying patterns never before seen in Arcanian history: wonder, confusion, and something approaching humility. How? How can they advance so quickly? The answer came not from Maya this time, but from a collective broadcast. Millions of human voices merged into one. Because we never stop learning. Because we know that true advancement isn't about reaching perfection. It's about embracing change, accepting challenges, and growing stronger through diversity. The quantum neural network demonstrated this by creating a simulation of possible future collaborations between human and Arcanian technology. It showed how the adaptability of human systems could complement the precision of crystalline technology, how two different approaches to civilization could enhance each other rather than compete. You offered us integration. Maya's voice returned, clear and confident. We offer you something better. Cooperation. Not as superior and inferior species, but as different civilizations with different strengths. You've mastered the art of crystalline perfection. We've mastered the art of imperfect progress. In the Eternal Dominion's command chamber, Xanthera made a decision that would change the course of both civilizations. Her crystalline form shifted, displaying new patterns never before seen in Arcanian history. We came to teach, she announced, her voice carrying a new tone of respect. Instead, we have learned. Perhaps there is more than one path to advancement. The remaining Arcanian ships stabilized their positions, no longer in retreat but no longer threatening. Earth's defenses remained active but non-aggressive, the quantum neural network continuing to bridge the gap between two fundamentally different approaches to civilization. Your defense wasn't just about protecting your planet, Xanthera realized. It was about proving a point, about showing us that advancement cannot be measured by a single standard. Exactly, Maya confirmed. And now that you understand this, perhaps we can both advance in ways neither of us imagined possible. Victory through innovation. 1 month after the Arcanian encounter, the Geneva International Science Center had gained some unusual permanent residents. Crystalline structures now shared space with traditional human computers, and Arcanian observers worked alongside Earth scientists in what had become the galaxy's most unique research facility. Dr. Maya Patel stood before a holographic display, watching as human and Arcanian technology interfaced through the evolved quantum neural network. Besides her, Grand Admiral Xanthera's crystalline form had regained its elegant geometry, but now displayed new, more complex patterns that reflected her changed perspective. Your civilization continues to surprise us, Xanthera observed, watching as human researchers developed new applications for crystalline technology that the Arcanians had never considered. Yesterday, a human child suggested using our computational crystals as art materials. The resulting sculptures somehow improved data processing efficiency by 30%. Maya laughed. That's humanity for you. We see possibilities everywhere, especially in places where we're told something is impossible. The quantum neural network had become something unprecedented, a living bridge between two fundamentally different approaches to technology and civilization. Human creativity and adaptability merged with Arcanian precision and efficiency, creating innovations that neither species could have achieved alone. The collective has begun implementing some of your adaptive algorithms, Xanthera shared, her form shimmering with what Maya had learned to recognize as excitement. Our ships now incorporate what you call controlled chaos principles. They're less perfect, but more resilient. In orbit, the first joint human-Arcanian research vessel prepared for its maiden voyage. Unlike the pristine crystalline ships of the Collective, this one displayed a hybrid design. Crystalline structures flowed into conventional materials, creating something entirely new. A ship that could both maintain perfect structural integrity and adapt to unexpected challenges. General Chen, watching the launch preparations from the control room, turned to Admiral Rodriguez. "Did you ever imagine, when we first saw their fleet, that this would be the outcome?" Rodriguez shook his head, smiling. "A month ago, we were preparing for the end of human independence. Now we're preparing to explore the galaxy as equals. All because we proved that advancement doesn't always look like what others expect it to." The quantum neural network had spread beyond Earth, creating a new kind of interstellar communication system. Unlike the rigid crystalline networks of the Collective, this one evolved and adapted, learning from every interaction. It became known as the Convergence, a place where organic and crystalline intelligence could meet and grow together. "The Collective Council has officially revised our classification system," Kenthera announced, her form displaying formal patterns. "We no longer rank civilizations by technological advancement alone. The new system considers adaptability, innovation potential, and cultural dynamics." "And where do we rank in this new system?" Maya asked, though her smile suggested she already knew the answer. "Earth has been classified as a mentor world," Kenthera replied, her crystals chiming with what had become her version of laughter. "The Collective is sending its brightest minds here to learn not just about technology, but about thinking differently." The main display shifted to show various scenes from around the world. In universities, Arcanian crystal minds interfaced with human quantum computers, creating new forms of problem-solving algorithms. In art studios, humans used crystalline media to create works that were both aesthetically stunning and computationally powerful. In laboratories, the combination of human intuition and Arcanian precision led to breakthroughs in everything from medicine to space travel. "You know," Maya said, studying the particularly interesting data pattern, "when you first arrived, you thought you were going to integrate us into your civilization. Instead, we've all become part of something entirely new." "Indeed," Kenthera agreed. "The Collective sought perfection through uniformity. You showed us perfection through diversity. It's still difficult for some of my people to accept that chaos can lead to advancement, that imperfection can be strength. And it's still difficult for some humans to accept that there's value in seeking perfection," Maya acknowledged. "But that's exactly why this works. We challenge each other's assumptions. We grow stronger through our differences." The display showed one final image, a new symbol that had been adopted for the Human Arcanian Cooperation Initiative. It showed a perfectly formed crystal embraced by an ever-changing network of organic patterns. Below it, words in both human and Arcanian script. "Unity through diversity, strength through adaptation." "You never needed our integration," Kenthera reflected. "You were already on your own path to the stars. We just couldn't recognize it because it looked so different from our own. And you didn't need to conquer us to advance your civilization," Maya replied. "You just needed to encounter something different enough to challenge your assumptions. That's the real victory here. Not that either of us won, but that both of us grew." As they watched the hybrid ship prepare for its first faster-than-light jump, Maya added one final thought. "The universe is vast, and there are countless ways to explore it. Sometimes the best way forward isn't to perfect what you are, but to be open to becoming something new." The ship disappeared into the depths of space, carrying with it the promise of what could be achieved when different paths to advancement learned to converge. It was a testament to humanity's greatest strength, not the ability to resist change, but the courage to embrace it and make it their own.